It's been an interesting, 16 or so hours. Last night there was a netcode patch for Capcom. They dropped it in the evening. I think maintenance finished up around maybe 5 or 6 my time or something like that. There's a pretty wild series of events. So the netcode patch dropped. The very first thing that happened is that people realized it killed the PC mods, right? Okay. I think that's expected. What's the situation with the netcode? Has anything changed? Then we started to see some really laggy matches, some real rough rollback. Nothing really looks that different. So everybody's like, well, nothing's changed. The patches have just been removed, right? And all of us were fucking pissed. And then we started to see some changes. Now, when I say we, I mean the community started to figure stuff out because obviously they didn't say what they did. The first hint, this is the first clip I saw that made me think that there was a change. In fact, a lot of people had said, hey, the netcode feels better to me. Some people said, hey, the netcode feels worse to me. And some people are saying, hey, there's changes and stuff. The first actual clue, and when I saw this, it's obvious that they've made a change, was this clip. 5 bars, same country. Before patch, it works good. Now it works like this. You see the slowdown that's going on here? This is not something that we saw in the Street Fighter netcode before. It didn't slow down like this. This slowdown is similar to what we saw in the Altimore patch, right? When there was desyncs or when there was issues of the connection between two opponents, the game would kind of stutter and slow down to try to fix them. Sometimes this would happen. This isn't supposed to happen. In fact, this is one of the big criticisms everybody had of the Altimore patch. And I think with Altimore's version, we are all not happy with it, but we accepted it as he is like Iron Man, essentially, right? Where he was in a cave without the source code of the game, building a fan-made patch. And so the fact that there are these weird slowdowns and stuff, it's like, well, he doesn't even have the source code of the game. He made this patch in 2 days with a box of scraps and a light punch, right? Like, it's not supposed to be like this. When I think of a rollback solution, the appeal of it is how seamless it feels and how nothing feels lost. When you think about delay-based games, think about how often someone jumps at you and you hit a button that just never appeared. And I worry, that the slowdown, that will create some of that feeling. Then the next clue that we had that something had actually changed to the netcode was tool-assisted posting gibberish, as always. SFV netcode lol. 5.2 all ping max frames ahead equals 15. 5.14 ping 8090 max frames ahead 5. Essentially trying to say based on the ping, it will adjust rollback accordingly and how far two opponents can get ahead of each other, right? And everybody was like, cool, like this means that it's adjusting based on what's going on. We don't even know exactly what Capcom's implementation does. I want to make sure that we say that too. They haven't told us, so we're only guessing. This one value has changed, we can see that, so it's obviously the same thing as Altimore's mod. Like, we don't know. Everything else in the game, like, who knows? And then Hi-Fi did a video testing the difference in the netcode and says like, all right, so this is with the lag switch off, PS4 to PC. Things look normal, right? Turns the lag switch on. And then now what does it look like when the lag switch is on, right? You can start to see the rollback and everything. This is what you expect, right? The game is very laggy. That's what's supposed to happen. The important part is what happens when the lag comes off, right? So lag switch off. Back to normal. Through us testing the game via this way and Hi-Fi testing and tool-assisted digging into the version of the game, we figured out that the game is now resyncing, which is a good sign. The problem is there's still cases where people have had one-sided rollback. The amount it's allowed is less than before, but the cases still exist. The other problem we have, and you see it in the video of Hi-Fi testing, is the slowdown. Instead of doing it how like KI or MK or like any other game would do, synchronization of it, where like, okay, one version is out of sync of the other. In one frame of the game, we're going to slow down one version and then like let the other version catch up real quick and boom, and it'll be fine, right? Like one frame goes missing somewhere in 10 frames to handle this. Instead, like the game has visual slowdown that like lasts for quite a while. You can see when like the game slows down for a second. I think it was right there. The game like slows down when the lag kicks in. The point of rollback, right? When rollback is functioning the way it's supposed to, the game is supposed to feel super consistent. In fact, it's supposed to feel and act like it does offline. That's the goal of rollback, right? So when I hit an attack, it comes out right when it comes out. So if the game is physically it's slowing down and you can see it on the screen, That is something that you don't want to happen with rollback. The other issue is that we're still seeing situations where maybe less than before, but still it's happening where there's one-sided rollback where one connection looks noticeably worse than the other. You want it to be consistent for both sides and the game to sync. And I think a lot of people have realized why this is happening. Zynak made a tweet about this. If you don't know, he is a very, very smart engineer. He worked on KI for quite a while, and he knows a lot about netcode. He's extremely smart. So the first one he said was, ping has nothing to do with balancing rollback. It's all about detecting frame drops and compensating on one end. From what it seems like is they adjust rollback based on ping, right? They say if the ping is like in this range, this is the amount of rollback you can have. 150 to 180, then this is the amount of frames you can be ahead or behind or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like that's how it works, right? The next two tweets. When the network conditions change, rollback gives you leeway and keeps your game running while not dropping inputs. Frame tick clock syncing prevents two games from drifting apart time-wise, forcing more rollbacks on one person and less on the other. No matter the current network delay, you always want to maintain clock sync between the two clients. Whether or not you have less ping one match doesn't fix frame drops. You could have 0 ping and you would still have one-sided rollbacks given client frame drops. So what he's saying here is it doesn't matter if the ping is 0, right? If your connection between two people is fantastic. Apex Legends starts downloading on the console, or perhaps your PS4 is in the corner of your desk and it's getting too hot because you're playing a while or whatever it is, right? There's going to be a frame drop. And if the ping stays the exact same, literally does not change, but the game drops frames, you'll have an issue. So then the next thing that we have, Mob has posted a ton of stuff about why the netcode doesn't work or does work or whatever. It says RE SF5 netcode changes. Here's what my analysis looks like when I'm not overflowing with salt. I saw the upset tweets, just like me. I feel you. Based on community's findings and what I've seen personally, still subjects to change. Do not take as an absolute. Yeah, and don't take any of this as an absolute. The game is, the new netcode patch has been out for like 16 hours. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on for sure. So this is the summary. I think that they have done probably the best they could without doing an extensive fix. It's still fundamentally not implemented correctly right there. But it is an improvement over what they had. Is it implemented properly? No. Is it better than what they currently have? Probably. And it seems like it's still case-by-case basis. Some people are having a much better experience, and some people are having hit or miss experiences. I think it will depend on the situations with how their ping is, what the frame drops are. It will probably depend on a lot of different factors. They shrunk the window in which it allows the game to drift off of the desired frame difference, right? So that was the tool-assisted post where it went from 15 to 5. Said window now scales based on ping to the other player. Scales based on ping. As a consequence, it is much more aggressive about resyncing timing into the intended range mid-match. Problems. One-sided rollback still exists, but the window is just tighter. Matches with unstable ping or when sitting near a frame boundary, right, where I was just talking about the cusp situations, can have excess amounts of micro-stuttering as it attempts to correct itself. Primarily syncing on ping rather than system timing is another issue, which causes the network effect to be stronger than it otherwise should be. When you sync by ping instead of syncing by what's actually the issue between these two machines, that is a big issue. People who already have very good connections will have the best results. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just nice. You got to remember the witch from Into the Woods, right? People on less than stellar connections will still struggle and not be able to get the most out of rollbacks. It needs work in very specific ways. It is an improvement over what they had, and likely any further fixes require a much more in-depth look, which they probably cannot justify. If the answer is, if your connection is already good, your connection is very stable now. That's how it always should be, right? If my connection is good and I'm playing other people who are close to you, that's cool, right? I benefit so much from a patch like this, right? My internet is 1,000, and I live in Southern California. But the appeal of rollback is that it makes even connections that are bad or not fantastic playable. And if the rollback solution only works for connections that are already great, then it doesn't really have a huge benefit, I would guess, over what like a delay-based solution would even be at that point, right? The point of good netcode, the point is not to look at the best case scenarios and say, wow, the good matches are great, so the netcode must be good, right? That's not how it works. You want to look at the connection quality between two players where things are not perfect and it's more realistic, right? Because when you're matchmaking with people, you're not always going to be near each other. You're not always going to have a perfect connection. I would say it like this. Is the netcode fixed? No, it's not fixed in the context of what a rollback game should be. Is it better than before? In lots of cases, probably. In some cases, no, but in lots of cases, probably. It's a little disappointing, I think. The context of this is so important too to me, right? If this had happened 6 months after the game came out, this would be the best thing ever, because then 3 or 4 or 5 months later, you could see another fix, right? And maybe with the next version with season 2 characters, they would have, you know, put in the time and effort to fix it for sure, and we'd have excellent netcode. But looking at it 4 years later and thinking that this is the fix we got, I would be happy. I don't even know if happy is the right word. I'll be content if what ends up happening is that this leads to another adjustment. But I don't know if they will. I don't know that I have the faith. I'm not miserable about this, and I'm not super happy about this. I'm looking at the realistic situation, right, that we're in. Yeah, pragmatic, right, sure. I think you forget how many fighting games have come and gone in the time that this game has come out that have had great netcode, right? And netcode that works perfectly. The fact that Altimore and Fluffy Sheep, the two people who made the mods, forced this change to happen is probably a good thing. For years and years and years, people told them that it wasn't right. It was like we had to guerrilla warfare Street Fighter for them to be like, well, okay, I guess we should probably try to fix something. I think given Capcom's history and where we actually ended up, it's not that different. It's different in ways that are good, but it's not so different that I feel like, saying that they didn't change much is like a huge overstep. Were we wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's why I spent all morning doing research so that I could come in here and explain what happened. This is only the 16-hour version of this lecture, right? It's brand new. It's brand new material. The professor had to learn it so that he could explain it to everybody else, right? The amount of people who are like frustrated that we haven't just given Capcom a free pass is astounding, you know? If you think about Street Fighter as a game, thinking about how many fucked up things have happened since this game has come out to the community, right? Think about it. And like people are still playing and buying Street Fighter. It's like, it's impressive. I think that this game is I think there should be a study about the resiliency of Street Fighter. Could anything else have survived the things that this game has been through? I have to give it credit for that. I'm still here streaming it, huh? The other good news, actually, I guess you can say about this patch is that the crossplay will now probably work correctly. Actually, I guess that's not true. Crossplay will still probably have the most one-sided rollback, but it's not as beat up as it was in this version, right? Or with the Altimore patch. The moral of the story is also important. You should never make snap assessments when salty. Sometimes they're wrong. Yeah, like most things, the truth is in the middle, and that's usually where I rest in my life. They're like, why are you looking at sources and citing people who have done tests and studies on the netcode? Why don't you just go play it yourself? Why read sources about how the netcode works? Just go play online. If you play online for 1 hour, it's much better than reading sources about how it works and looking at all the other people who've been playing for 10 hours straight, giving you examples of the shit you want to talk about. Brian F says, I did play online and I got shit for complaining about it. You know, that's the thing, right? You played online and you had a really bad time. I got a lot of shit for using your bad times as an example that the netcode's not working correctly. It's not working correctly. The netcode's not fixed. It's different than before, and in some ways better, and in some ways worse. But Brian clearly had a really bad set of connections, like tons of bad connections. I watched all of these really bad connections. Like Art's tweet, dude, that was one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen. I don't blame Art for this, by the way, but it's just my favorite tweet. I played 8-Bit Pimp coast to coast in SF5. He had 78 MS connection to me, and it was very playable. Reminded me of Beta 3 netcode for Street Fighter 5. If you play somebody and you have a 78 MS connection to them, right? That's the ping. And the connection is bad, that's a problem. I would hope 78 MS would be playable. I don't understand it. Like, am I supposed to be, I'm not impressed by 78 MS being like, wow, that was great. Fixed is the wrong word. Don't use fixed when you talk about the netcode currently. I'll play Seth. Who's out there who's not in SoCal? It's the only time I'll ask this, that I normally don't have it. Oh, Brian, we might have a bad connection to each other. Let's test this. So Brian and I played before and it wasn't so bad. We had a little bit of stuttering, but it wasn't the end of the world, right? It was worse for you actually when we played. Okay, I forgot about one-sided rollback. Well, when we played last time, my side wasn't so bad and your side was bad. So now let's watch, let's see what it's like here. He's in Wisconsin, correct? It could be better, it could be worse, who knows? Last time we played it was okay. No. It looks fine. Oh, my uppercut didn't come out. It looks fine. Zephyrus, I've said plenty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this round looks... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This round looks a little bit worse, huh? Oh, I thought he was gonna block. Yeah, it did come back. It did come back. It did come back. It was a little worse, but then it kind of came back. That's a good sign. Is it gonna be always like that at the start of the round, though? That's the question, right? Oh, man. Yeah. It's getting a little weird. My button just did not come out. It's done. Yeah, it's getting a little rough. Oh. Yeah, there's a few slowdowns, and there's a few times where it got worse and then kind of came back and then got worse and then kind of got... It's not so great, huh? It's not very stable. There's also a noticeable chunk that I had there. It's hard to say because him and I have played before. The slowdown actually sucks. I can just feel stuff getting lost, right? I can just feel like a button just disappearing into the void on the slowdown. That's the point of the point of working rollback is that you don't want slowdown, right? The appeal of rollback is that doesn't happen, right? Oh, it didn't combo. Oh. Altimore patch had hiccups too, of course, yeah. That's the problem though, right? Is like the Altimore patch was a fan-made patch that we sort of accepted because we were like, well, you know, it's not Capcom themselves, right? Oh, that's a true. I thought only light kick was. I see. I should probably die here. Oh. I did wake up jab strong. Chunky. It's hard to say. Well, I played with him before. It was better than that for me, but worse for him. Oh, you say it's pretty much how it was before? I would describe it as worse for me this time than last time. However, the worst part is the chunkiness, right? So I've played AJ multiple times. Old patch, new patch, this patch. The slowdown is rough. Slowdown will give you the feeling of the bad parts about delay with rollback, which is what you don't want. So the appeal of rollback is that it constantly feels like you're playing the game offline. It just feels smooth when you do things come out. If there is lag, you'll see teleporting and stuff, and there'll be a little bit of animations lost, but it will feel smooth. Inputs should not get dropped in rollback, right? That's the appeal of it. I don't know how often it'll happen though, right? This is US to UK, so expect some teleporting. Teleporting should be normal here. Oh boy. It's so slow. Okay. Okay, well, I played AJ on the Altimore patch, right? I can say that we have the example of me playing on the Altimore patch versus him, and this is certainly a worse experience. Oh. This is UK to US, keep that in mind, but this, on the Altimore patch, I think our experience was better for this. I'm pretty sure. This is, okay, the issue is not the teleporting. Teleporting is normal. Look at the chunkiness of how our characters move. Look at how slow they are and how chunky everything is. Where like they freeze and stuff. Do you see that? That stuttering? You see what I mean? Oh. I just lost my move. Wrong crush counter button, but I get the idea. Oh. That looked like standard rollback. Oh, my button. I should be dead. Oh, I guess not. I lived. The slowdown and chunkiness is bad. That's bad. That shouldn't happen. Teleporting is normal. Chunkiness should not. Oh, the beginning of the round is always when it happens the worst, huh? That shouldn't happen. Oh my god. It's gone. Ah, it just got lost. It just got lost. That sucks. That's a bad feeling. That is a bad feeling. My button got lost. It just never came out, right? Yeah. It just got lost. Okay. Mazzy, were you the first one that joined? I'll play yours. Yeah, our experience in the Ultimore patch was better. I would personally rather than slow down rather than teleporting. No, the problem is when you slow down, you're losing, like, it feels, to me at least, that the inputs are being lost. This looks more normal, right? This is US to UK. Like, a little bit of teleporting on movement and stuff, it should happen like that, right? But we haven't seen the same kind of chunkiness that we saw in the last match. Oh, that's the wrong punish. Nice. Teleporting like this in this connection should be expected, by the way, chat room. Teleporting in this connection should be expected. This looks better. Inputs, the game being frozen and the game dropping inputs, that shouldn't happen on good rollback. Nice. I try to DP it. This is a little worse than last round, but it looks like about like how it's supposed to look. This looks fine. This looks fine. So, connection with Brian had slowdowns and drops. This connection has just teleporting. Connection with AJ had slowdowns, right? Yeah, Mazzy, I agree. It seemed fine. LastCody, we usually have a pretty normal amount of rollback with, right? Actually, a little bit more. And we played like 5 matches so far, so... I think I usually had... I've played LastCody on stream before, right? A few times, and we've had slowdown before. Combo's on counter hit. That doesn't work. Oh shit! I guess it doesn't, but it does work for Mazzy, who dropped the big Twitch Prime. Hey, thanks for helping us test, Mazzy. I appreciate that. Yeah, this looks fine. So this looks like the first connection so far we can say is probably improved. I don't think that works on 4-frame buttons anyway. Maybe? I think we played in the Ultimore patch and it was similar to this. Help! Oops. I don't know. This character's cross up is light kick. Light kick. Oh yeah, we should play DonCafe too. We played DonCafe before, right? I've never tried that combo. It seems normal. A little bit of delay, or a little bit of rollback. I didn't see any major delays. Yeah, I like how everything is like, it must be Brian or his ISP or his computer or his PS4. It's like, it can't be anything to do with the patch, right? Medium hands instead of light hands. It can't be anything to do with the netcode. It's got to be Brian's fault, right? It's your fault you're having a bad experience. Where are you in the US, KVR? Also, that was... Have I played any other cross-platform matches? NC, okay. What's the current bug, Jekka? Yeah, the goal of rollback is not to make good connections always good all the time. Not all of his are bad. His connection wasn't the worst I've experienced, probably, actually. The UK one had more slowdown. This is NC. Oh, I didn't see that walk up. Yeah, there's some choppiness here. Choppiness, but I don't think we've seen slowdown yet, right? It's just been normal rollback, right? Oh, that was an uppercut. I should have done down forward. It seems pretty normal so far. I forgot this game is weird about how it handles shortcuts. Oh, what? Yeah, there's been teleporting so far in this match. Like right here, you can see it in the way Chun-Li... Oh shit, Chun-Li moves. Yeah, you can see it. There's a bit of stuttering and there's some rollback. You can see it in the way she's moving, right? Like, watch. I'll show you. This one is a good example of it. You didn't notice anything significant on my end? Oh, is this run-sided rollback? Like, look at this, the way she... Oh, it's so chunky. Yeah, now there's stuttering and lag. But does it fix itself? Oh, man. Oh, it's... God damn it, it's so slow. It should resync. Okay. I'm waiting. It's in slow motion. It's like 50 FPS. Pew Pew Pal says, I don't see it on my end. On his end, this looks normal. It's not chunky. Oh. Alright, well, perfect. Good. This is a good example. Game 1, I'm seeing rollbacks. He's saying looks good on my end. Game 2, I have slowdown. He says, it seems fine. Chunky. Chunky and one-sided on the delay is pretty rough. Seth looks fine on my end. Definitely not the same stuttering you're seeing. So still one-sided, right? One-sided stuttering and rollback. 4-bar, no flag, GG. Caribbean, off the coast of Venezuela. Good. Cool, cool, cool. I'm excited for this one. Yeah, I'll be playing Uniclar tomorrow. You can see the rollback already in my hits. Let me back up. Oh. Yeah, okay. It's pretty normal, right? A little bit of teleporting and stuff. Looks normal. It looks like what we'd expect, right? Like, bits of teleporting, but nothing really weird. It's definitely a little chunky. It's not quite as bad as what we saw in the last match. What up, Sir Retro? Does it fix itself, though? That's the question, right? Oh. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like it's pretty bad still. Oh my god. Oh, I thought I killed him. Oh, I thought I killed him. Okay. Little chunky. Some rollbacks. Got worse in the middle. And I don't know how much it really improved right there, right? How does it look for you, DonCafe? It was mostly fine except for that one spike. Okay. LCD says, my experience has been worse since the update. The slowdown is dreadful. The slowdown is no good, right? Obviously, that's not what people like. I'd be hesitant about a Poland connection. I'm in the UK. That's what I'm saying. Well, this will probably be bad. I don't know how much we can blame on the netcode for this. It's probably not going to be great. You had the dash at the beginning, eh? I see how it is. Well. Oh my goodness. The surprise? It was a surprise dash? Nice. Oh, I thought that was a jump. Okay. I forgot. That's not the right thing to do at all. Oh! This looks better than expected. A lot of teleporting, but like no. Oh my god, no slowdown yet. Oh boy, that button was gone. We never saw it. Oh shit. We're not seeing most of the normals very well, but I think that's probably to be expected. Oh, I thought he dashed. Oh. That's all I was looking for. It's not the worst thing. What's weird is that some of my connections so far have been worse than this, right? Oh. Wow. Oh, I got hit. This looks like my matches to people in the other state in the previous netcode. Oh shit, I didn't see it. Yeah, there's still some times where you see stuff that you're not supposed to see. This one doesn't look that bad. That connection was about what you expect, right? You can't really see anything, right? You can't really see like any moves or normals or dashes or anything. They all disappear. But it's Poland. What do you expect? We didn't see the slowdown. Sweet Jesus. Is this even worth testing? Okay. All right. I'm from northern Siberia in Russia. Oh boy. Play Zangief too? Siberia is closer than Moscow to the west coast. Sure. I'm also closer to like, I don't know, probably Saturn than I, oh. Help! Yeah, I mean, it looks like how it's gonna look. I mean, you shouldn't expect anything different, right? This looks about right. This, I mean, this, you know, what did you expect, right? It's SoCal to Siberia. Hell yeah, I'm gonna just keep jumping. This shit is the way to do it. Oh no. Oh, I thought it hit, obviously. It did hit. Surprised y'all can play. I mean, we can play it. It's just me jumping at him because I know he's not gonna be able to stop it. Is there slowdown? I don't think so. So it's like the game does, it does some of the good things of rollback, but then also bad things with rollback and some of the bad things about delay. It's been changed and adjusted, but it's still not very well implemented. It's just different. There are things about it that are worse than before. I expect when you play it after a while, you will probably end up really being frustrated by the freezes. That being said, there are things about it that will be better. In the end, it's still a bad implementation of rollback. I hope that there is additional changes to this. They're really close to having great netcode. The fact that it came out 4 years late, 4 years, 8 frames, 1 rootkit. The story of how one game persevered.